Hey, Bob Saget here. Welcome to another incredibly fun and titillating episode of Bob Saget's Here for You. I know it's my name. I can't talk in third person, but I do because I named the damn show with my name in it because I guess you're supposed to. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay. It's craziness. The world is upside down. I was going to say topsy-turvy, and then I was going to say upsy-doozy. And I have someone here that makes me, he's not here. I mean, we're Zooming. But he's a friend. And we became friends more recently. We've known each other for a long time. When he used to host The Soup, I used to drop in. He's just such a talented guy. He's a great actor, great comedian. He's just a delightful, wonderful, caring person. And I just have a strong love for this guy, Joel McHale. See, this whole purpose of this podcast is to make people feel better.
And I do.
You got glitchy. You got a little glitchy. What happened to your Wi-Fi there? Your eyes. I mean, we use mainly audio, but can you see that you're a little, your eyes a little twitchy, glitchy?
Everything is very smooth on my end over here.
I heard about your end, and I know that it's smooth because you have amazing skin. I know you'll show your butt. You do.
I do have amazing skin. I had a transplant of baby skin.
So it's a tough time out there. But there's babies. You're saying there's babies missing skin. That's not good. That's
not my problem, Bob Saget.
This is Darkest Times kind of comedy.
Darkest Timeline.
Darkest Timeline podcast.
With Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong and yourself, which is really amazing. And I love the title if I could memorize it, but I'm never off book. And you have your own reading disabilities. I know everything about you because we know each other. So
yeah, you have a problem memorizing?
I always have, and I had to really know if it's really good writing. I don't have trouble because then I can figure it out. But like, I'm not condemning any of the writing that I've done for commercial television or anything, but let's just say I've written lines on the side of the door frame before I walked into a room just to say what's going on.
No.
You ever done that?
We used to have teleprompters at Community because we were getting, sometimes we get the script super late and we'd be filming like 3 episodes at once. And it was hard to keep track of what was going on. So they just brought prompters in. And usually we could people were so quick that they could kind of take it off. But sometimes we couldn't. That said, but I'm dyslexic, but I don't, well, depending upon the thing, I'm dyslexic, but I don't have too much of a trouble memorizing unless it's technical jargon.
Right.
Which kills me.
I had that problem. I was guesting on a show. Rebel Wilson had a show, Super Fun Night, and I played her boss. And I got bad news that day. My mom started to get really sick, and I got the news right before the scene that had the most dialogue, and it was a tongue twister. It was like I think I can remember it now.
That's probably the most understandable thing ever.
But I think it upset Rebel and a lot of the people justifiably because I was comedically riffing in between, which had nothing to do with the work. But I was just going nuts, just talking about my mom has a tumor. And it's darkest days comedy,
Yeah. It's funny sometimes. Well, I can just pick it just like that, no problem. And then other times, yeah, I think, would you not agree, or maybe you'd agree, that when you're on a show where you consistently have to memorize, it's like playing a sport. You just get in shape.
It's a muscle. You just do it. And that's what I love about it. And you're a really good actor, like really good. You really are.
Can't take a compliment. Thank you so much.
I know you can't, but you're a really good actor and you're funny. You have a good hunch. But people don't know that about you. Show it. That's why. That's the only thing that people don't know about you is you live in a bell tower. And Sarah is very sweet. She just rings a bell and you come whenever she asks.
That's true. I'm very lucky she still rings the bell at all.
Well, she's amazing, by the way. And I've never been with her. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it that way. I meant I've never spent time with her. You and I have an affinity, so our paths have crossed, and then we've made choices to see each other even recently.
We have, and I know that you get this all the time, and I'll compliment you, but Bob Saget, one of the nicest men I've ever met, and that's not even including Hollywood. There you go. I think, and
I can't take it. I can't take the compliment.
I'm way more flexible, but
well, just the chest goes down. The abs I don't have your abs. I saw your TikTok video, man. You're flying.
TikTok. I don't have.
Well, it was a thing. The thing you did with Kevin Hart and all the couples on that dance craze thing.
Oh yeah, that was just that's my Achilles heel or dance slipper.
You're great.
Oh wait, that's on tonight.
Yeah. Well, not apparently, because this isn't on at the moment. It was on last week.
I got to tell.
It was on like a week or two ago.
Yes, it was amazing. Can you believe? Yeah. I guess I can say, can you believe we won?
It's amazing that you won.
Yeah.
And what network, if they want to go to the app and backpedal and watch it?
I think it was on Spike.
Spike is good. I do that with all my juices.
Yeah, I think it was GQ or maybe UPN.
I'm on UPS right now. I just make deliveries and try to make people laugh door to door.
You gotta go where the heat is. No, it's on E. I don't know much about the E network, but it's on there.
Have you ever been on E? Wait a minute. I've
only been on E with an exclamation point.
So it's about the font.
Ken and I have been doing some live shows. Like we do a live podcast where people come in. It's on loop.com or whatever.
I've watched it, and I watched the aftermaths of it. It's really good because people don't even know they're going into a group.
Yeah.
They think that
hi.
You're just sitting there like the guy that knows everything.
I went into this private chat. I'm not going to say where they were from, but she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend, he really wanted to be." It was across the world. I don't know, somewhere. But she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend wanted to stay up, but he took ketamine, and he couldn't stay up." And I was like, "Is that what people just take?" Like, and they were not.
What is that?
I feel like they put like cats into a pseudo sleep with it.
So it's a cat. It's a cat tranquilizer.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
There's a lot of dirty jokes in there, but I don't do that kind of humor.
Effects. Okay. Yeah. Will watch Full House.
Oh God.
It's a sister drug to PCP.
Well, that's not good.
It's just weird when people take like a party drug and there's like, no, they were just, it's a dissociative anesthetic.
Well, it's also for people that have any mental health issues, and they say 100% of the people do. I was talking to Howie Mandel on here because he's written about it, because he's had those issues. His OCD isn't just OCD, and it's so much better. But it's people with mental health issues, which is all of us, but it depends on how you deal with it and how much of it you have and how in reality you can be. And they are a gateway. And I lost a sister who was schizophrenic, and gateway stuff does happen for those people. It doesn't mean it wouldn't have happened anyway necessarily, but they can accelerate it. So I wouldn't take a cat tranquilizer.
It's a date rape drug as well.
Whoa. Those are two words you don't want together.
No.
Well, we started on I don't know why you're doing a thing about the darkest times. I mean, I don't know why. Darkest timeline. So this is the darkest timeline, but it's about the darkest times is what it's about. That's the subject matter, correct?
Yeah, but it's just weird to me that someone would be like, he wanted to stay up, but he took ketamine, and I'm like, that it would be one thing. It was like he had 3 shots or like 6 shots of whiskey, and he just passed out. I'd be like, oh, that sounds like a Friday night somewhere, young people, or me now. And but it just weird thing. I was like, the guy took like a date rape drug just to doze off to, and I was like, oh, it's okay.
Well, I think some people's fantasies, and this is dark comedy, everybody. This is not meant for people that are have been through anything. We're not making light of anything like this. We're saying it's horrific. But if you're taking it by yourself, does that mean you want to do that to yourself? I mean, can you do that to yourself? Can you violate yourself? I mean, I guess you can.
Well, we knew had a dinner years ago. I'll never forget it, with a emergency room doctor, and I was like, "What's the weirdest thing?" And he was like, "Basically, like people just put all sorts of stuff up their butt."
They do. Light bulbs, I always hear.
Oy vey.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you're Yiddish. That's why you speak the Hebrew language.
I just don't know where I'd find the free time. First of all,
well, Irish and Yiddish, it's all the same. It's all limericks.
Gaelic
and getting drunk.
Same language.
So you have been. How are you? How are you, by the way?
It's been a busy day. That's why I kept changing the time, and I was late. And I cooked a chicken, and tomatoes, and onions, and mushrooms, and
That's
I made it
awesome.
So hopefully my wife wasn't feeling great today, not COVID. And so hopefully it's okay. But I love cooking anyway, so I would do it regardless.
Well, give her my love because she's
I'll be right back.
She's a good slip her my love. What? I'm not a swinger. I wouldn't do that.
Bob Saget, you decided to have a podcast here during the COVID because
before it.
You started before.
I was so upset over the past 3 years of how upset people are just by doing stand-up and by getting the feeling all the unrest in the audience and just trying to make people happy. The same as you. I mean, one of the things I'm drawn to about you is that you're a positive person. You're trying to do you're cynical like me, and we're self-loathing and all that stuff. But But still, I want to make people feel good, and hence the title.
I would definitely say that you have wonderfully dark jokes and some gallows humor, but no, I don't think anyone would ever say, like that Bob Saget, he's in a dark place. Like he goes real. He doesn't. Everyone's like he's so. It's like he's just the nicest guy, and he tells jokes that a lot of people wouldn't even enter their brain, which is pretty great.
Thank you, Joel. You do the same thing. When I used to walk on Talk Soup with you, and I would just walk on with you. I did it a bunch. If I had someone to promote, you'd say, "Oh, Bob will come by." I know you did it with some people. You had a few producer people, and you did it with a couple of guests once in a while, but it was not a regular thing of your show. And I would just come in and go, "Here's a book I'm promoting."
Well, we always knew you were what we would call, a bringer. So we always knew that when the camera was on, you'd be funny, because we did have people on that weren't.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you were like, that person was supposed to be, and then there would be these like diamonds in the rough for comedy that you wouldn't even, how it goes. We're like, oh, that was like when late night guests would go on, you knew that, like when people were just super funny would go on and kill it. But then other people, you're like, I did not expect that, how funny they were.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I've danced around. I wasn't even answering a question. I was just saying things out loud without really saying anything.
That's what the show. No, it's all good.
Okay.
You know what? That's a good time to say we'll be right back. So we'll be right back.
You have commercial breaks?
All right, I'm going to talk about something. Oddly enough, people ask me this all the time. I'll be, getting gas. I'll be running to somewhere, an errand, anything. And people go, "Tell me, Bob, do you know anything about insurance?" And I can't believe you asked me that, because I just so happen to know about a great insurance company. It's not a company. It's even more. It's Policy Genius. And the point is, with everything going on right now, a lot of people are asking if it's even possible to buy life insurance at all. And more than ever, I think people, if they can afford it, want life insurance. And this makes it affordable, because the answer is yes, you can get it. It is still easy to shop for life insurance right now. And if you have loved ones depending on your income, you probably should get it. Right now, you could save $1,500 or more a year by using Policy Genius to compare life insurance policies. See, what you do is you compare life insurance policies, and then you could save like $1,500 because you didn't go pay the retail and you got the same great quality. When you're shopping for a policy that could last for a decade or more, those savings really start to add up. Now, what is Policy Genius? That's what people ask me too. I'll be walking down the street and they'll say, "Hey, Bob, what is Policy Genius?" And what it is it's an insurance marketplace built and backed by a team of industry experts. And people also say, "How does it work, Bob?" And you know what? Here's how it works. Step one, you just head to policygenius.com, and in minutes you can work out how much coverage you need and compare quotes from top insurers to find your best price. Step two, apply for your lowest price. Step three, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and red tape. And gosh knows, I got tons of red tape. I buy it in bulk. So Policy Genius works for you, not the insurance company. So if you hit any speed bumps during the application process, they'll take care of everything. I'll tell you how I feel about it. I love Policy Genius because they help weed out all the other insurance companies that you might not want. They even have policies which allow eligible customers to skip the in-person medical exam and do it over the phone. That kind of service has earned Policy Genius a 5-star rating across over 1,600 reviews on Trustpilot and Google. So if you need life insurance, head to policygenius.com right now to get started. You could save $1,500 or more a year by comparing quotes on their marketplace. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right. We're back. That's how quick they are.
Ken and I need to get on this. We don't have any commercials.
You know about COVID, right?
The beer?
We're in quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
COVID beer.
COVID, I just feel bad for Corona. Just people.
That's fine. They're not even hurt by this.
No, they're out of business. They stopped production.
No, they didn't.
Yep.
No, don't say that.
They absolutely did.
When?
Literally like two or 3 months ago.
I didn't know that. I have Corona Light in the house. I'm not going to get it, right?
Oh, you could probably sell that for a lot.
Well,
there was
AIDS diet candy. I can understand that had to go out of business. They changed their name to HIV candy.
Oh, Bob Saget.
But I'm a good person. And I've lost people to that disease. Does that qualify that I can say that? No, it's still not good.
But so Corona, so you can't see it, at the very beginning, like 2 days before the lockdown, when people weren't even sure what was happening, I cut my head open on a I was going to say something horrible, but
no, say it. Come on. I'm looking really bad right now.
I moved. No.
Please say it. I've said terrible shit. Please.
You see the scar right here? No, you can't really see it.
Hold your penis up to the lens.
I can't. I mean, there's so much to hold that I would need.
But it's flaccid, so maybe just drape it.
It doesn't mean it's like carrying a mattress all over the place or a gigantic water balloon.
Now, my mattress is firm. You got to get the kind I have.
It's a feather bed. But no, I was at no, but so I was at a urgent care here in Sherman Oaks, and I was like, how many people are calling about the COVID? They're like, we cannot put the phone down. It's like our phone is lit up all the time. And this is before the lockdown. This is early March. And then I said, how many people, what do they say when they call in? They say, I'm worried I have the COVID. I had Chinese food the last week, but I stopped drinking Corona beer. They said stuff like that.
Yeah, they're still saying stuff like that. I mean,
I was like, yeah, I know. But how often? They're like, way more than you'd think. And that's when I just go, ugh.
Well, that's kind of why we're here. That's kind of why things have
But then I always
happened.
go, we made it to the moon. We got to the moon. We got to the moon. We got to the moon.
That's
We
what
did-
people say. But
When
some
you-
people don't believe, if you recall, that we got to the moon. And there was a movie, I forgot the name of it. It's a real-
Martian Chronicles. With
no, it was with Gregory Peck. Was it Maroon? No, we did get to space or something. But there was a movie that showed that it was a studio.
Martian Chronicles.
No.
God dang it.
Gregory Peck movie about
Capricorn
landing on the
1.
moon.
Capricorn 1.
Capricorn 1. Thank you, darling. Thank you. But Marooned was another one. Marooned was a science fiction film by John Sturges starring Gregory Peck, Richard Crenna, David Jansen, Gene Hackman, about 3 astronauts who are trapped and slowly suffocating in space. That's how I want to go.
Well, they're in space, but
Yeah, Capricorn 1 was all a ruse, the whole thing. And that's what some people want to believe that we did not
that's
land
how long
on.
it took us to get to that. Oh, this is going to be quite a podcast.
It's an easy pull-up. I got a wonderful producer.
Experts and smart people and people that have done research, and we're like, that's not it. The dummy, it was in this thing, and then we sit on our phones and look it up. And
but isn't that more? Annalise is the person that would edit that out. She would go right to what's the name of that movie, and then you would go Capricorn 1, and then you'd go, oh, and then no one would know why you're so upset.
Who's this Annalise? And I would like to.
She can edit this if somebody's really upset with not knowing the name of a movie.
If she had a religion, I would join it.
Well, you have your faith is helping you through this, I would think.
Yeah, it should. It definitely does. Yeah, because I got 2 kids, 12 and 15. I know yours are older.
Yeah, 33, 31, 27.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a very weird thing to go through COVID like this because kids love running around, this endlessly. And so, we kept them here for months and even a lot of their friends are like, well, no, we're not going out. We'll have a socially distanced thing. And it's fine. It's good, but it's very bizarre. They've gone into, it's basically turned into Ready Player One because they spend a lot of time talking and playing with their friends online, either through Xbox or through VR. And then I'm like, well, that's a good way to talk to them. And yeah, so there's my thing.
Well, but I guess the silver lining is that people are connecting more. You are spending more time with your family than you normally would.
Yeah. Oh, it's, as you know, the fact that I have not been on a plane since March. If you said you'll stop, there will be no more. If you looked at like my itinerary, like
I was the same. We would have probably passed in the air many times. I was supposed to be touring all year. I had a new hour. Ironically, it had a lot of stuff about racial tension in it because it was in the zeitgeist way before this pandemic. Obviously, it's been in the zeitgeist for 100 years or 10,000 years, and I was so sick of how people were treating each other and how everybody's wrong all over the place. And I mean, you can't really say all you need is love. You can't take the Maharishi and Beatles approach. You really have to solve some problems.
You definitely have to figure out how to proceed with systemic racism.
And what do you do with your kids? That's what I want to know, because mine have real strong thoughts about it and are very convicted to how things are and the Black Lives Matter movement and equality and how they have a lot of friends that are affected. Really affected. So where are you at with your kids? How do you go about it?
No, I'm right there. Their schooling has been definitely very socially aware, way more aware than when I was in school, obviously. And they know it, and they want to march. And so that's great. And, I feel like that's a good thing that the education system did. And so it's so time and all those things and time I love the fact that they are aware of that. And I try to, they teach me. So,
Yeah, same here. Wait
so
till they get older. I've learned so much of number one, all the mistakes I've made.
yeah, that's why kids were put on this planet.
Man,
No, but my kids, they all
I
want to
wish
go.
I had do-overs. I would like 3 do-overs, for them.
But you're pretty. I didn't know what you were like in the '80s when you were the most popular person on television.
An asshole. I was working 90 hours a week between 2 shows, and I wasn't home. I was doing what we do when the tree opens,
My shows, I did the same thing, but the shows just weren't as popular.
Yeah, but you'd have to say stuff of like, Stephanie, you can't bring a car into the kitchen.
What?
She drove a car into the kitchen on Full House because she shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a car. She was like 9, 11. I don't know.
We had a line that Padgett Brewster said to the dean, which was, "Did we give a degree to a dog?" And then the dean couldn't answer. And then she was like, "Why is this taking so long? Why is it so hard?" But no, wait. So you were an asshole because a 9-year-old drove into the kitchen?
No. I'm just saying I was. I had another family. The Full House thing was a long run with people that I'm obviously very close with today. So it kind of, I feel like that took away some from my own family life, and their mom and I got divorced when they were young. So, it's hard. It's hard life's hard anyway. And right now, people out there are having, the worst time. So there are people together right now that don't want to be married. They don't want to be living together.
Yeah, obviously domestic violence has gone up, and it is that reality sounds like a living hell. And I just pray to God that there are services for people to seek out and feel safe to seek out, because could you imagine that situation? I don't know how that can sustain.
I'm very lucky. My wife Kelly is she's just amazing.
Very lucky.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Hey, watch it. I mean it. You're crossing the line.
But no. What I have to say?
She thinks you're the best, but by the way, women swoon over you. I'm just saying, and men. You're loved by all. I'm saying it right out loud here. I could be of any sexual proclivity. Is proclivity a word? Is that the right word?
Look, I'll have sex with you, Bob. Whatever you want to do, that's fine.
Okay.
When this.
But you would be, and you're faithful to your wife.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice for me is there's nobody on Twitter saying I did nothing, because I'm not that guy. I'm not a predator. I joke about that. So people thought, and I used to, I don't anymore because I didn't mean anything by it. It's just kind of like.
Did I get you in trouble back then?
Yeah, I kind of did. When I was doing the 2 shows, family shows, and then I did an HBO special, which for some reason I made sure you could never see again. I kind of crossed lines.
Wait, that wasn't cracking my butt, was it?
Yes, it was.
I'm so sad.
It was called In the Dream State, and half of it was me trying to get to, I was in my sleep and I couldn't get to my special, but it was a half an hour of me trying to get to my special, which was only a half an hour. So, but it did have that was a cute bit, but thank you.
No, I can't. I wish. Is the crack in my butt on anywhere online?
No, it's not available. I have it here at home. I believe it's on. It's on 14-inch tape.
Oh, you're sitting on it. For those of you out there, this bit. Look, I think. Look, as a teenager, or I guess I must have been. When did that special come out?
Oh my God. Let's see.
Was it?
It was 4 years into Full House, so that would be 94,
Okay.
93, 94.
Okay. So I was a junior in
I'm going
college.
to Google Gregory Peck and see if I can find
Oh,
it.
yes. It was called Capricorn. No, that crack in my butt thing, because my friend Ethan Sandler, we went to his house and he was like, watch this. And I was like, the guy from, because Full House, look,
Do you know how much I've heard that my whole life? Every sentence. I mean, that guy? He's not.
well,
What?
because because you came off as this, you were America's dad, and then you hosted the most popular show, which was, a family fun show, as you already talked about. But he was like, watch this. And we rewound Crack in My Butt, I don't know, 12 times. And I was just like, oh, Bob Saget can do anything. It really pisses me off.
Oh, geez, God, no.
Look, I don't remember. I don't want to say we watched the whole special a couple of times. It's funny now when I go back, I was like, I don't feel like there was anything that crossed the line, but then that crack on my butt was just.
Well, for people that don't know, it was based on a guy who ran the children's train at the Houston Zoo, and it was for kids. And he was hungover and miserable, and his pants, he had plumber's crack, butt crack, and all I saw was that. And there was children everywhere, and he was just still drunk and miserable and sad. And he got on the microphone, and he was the guy that would take the tickets and then go, please give your tickets, and then very depressed. And he goes, please keep your hands and legs inside the crack of my butt at all times. He wasn't saying crack in my butt, but that's all I heard. So as the train started to take off, as it built, it was crack in my butt, crack in my butt, crack in my butt, crack in my, that was the train.
If you look off to your left, you can see some beautiful giraffes in the crack of my butt.
And there's an antelope coming out of the crack of my butt. Crack, and then I went crack in my butt. Oh,
I
man.
think it was because basically it was like you came up with this, you put the viewer into a fugue state of laughter because you just didn't think, or like, it's like the end of Hey Jude or something where you're just like, it's just like 45 Nas. But I was like, yeah, but it's just washes over you.
Well, I learned that from Monty Python, people that reiterated to the point where that's when I couldn't stop laughing, when it keeps building and building. And that's why Airplane is so great, and all the Monty Python.
Can you imagine you walking into a club and, I mean, I can't imagine when you would do that bit. And I imagine the audience must have just picked their chairs up and torn them apart and began ripping their hair out. They were laughing so hard.
Or the opposite. Or I would get no response because I just wouldn't stop. I did it for 10 minutes one night.
And they didn't.
I just wanted to keep going on the train, with the conductor. I was in his mind. He's drunk. He's miserable. But it's the thing that's so upsetting about it is he's driving children. Just little teeny 6-year-olds through a zoo. Looking at monkeys, talking about all the animals, and they shouldn't even be in a zoo. Everything's wrong about the whole thing. That's why I think it's funny.
So good. I mean, that was it. Literally, if I text crack in my butt to my friend Ethan, he'll just be like, keep your hands and feet inside. And so it's really, I don't remember anything. I'm old now, so I don't remember a thing, but bits that pierced my soul, I will, like a Monty Python sketch that I can recite, or an SNL sketch I can recite, or something like that. That's one of them. And
that's really nice. Thank you. I'm just a kid that didn't stop, Were you obnoxious as a teenager like I was, or were you quiet?
Whenever people are like, were you just the class clown? And I was like, well, I think I came into it. It developed into me going like, oh, I'm having more confidence. And that it took a little while, but because I was so bad in school, so I was always embarrassed. But then I was like, oh, I can kind of be on stage here. And then I loved sports, and I would lose myself in sports. So between, if I could stand on stage or throw a ball, yeah, that was
football, baseball, everything.
Every sport, you name it, practically, I was doing it.
Did your dad play with you?
Yeah, he would play. He loved basketball and tennis, so I played a ton of that. And he put a basketball court. He bulldozed our lawn and put in a slab of cement, and we put in a basketball court. I mean, or a basketball hoop, and then that was very nice of him and my mom. But yeah, I mean, I got good at darts. Those are the sorts of things that's how I would spend, if we were at a pub, I wouldn't be like, well, let's go do something. I can't not just sit here. Let's go throw darts. And so, but I played, the only thing that stopped me from doing sports was acting. And
well, you could still do that. There's things you could be doing in that. You could play an athlete in something. I mean, you can do it.
Now, yeah. I could play a coach. I could play like a coach.
No, you could play a guy who still wants to play. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield went back to school, you know.
I could play like a golfer's hitting the senior tour.
Joel, you still look incredibly young. You are young. I'm 64, for God's sakes.
You look great.
I'm not from the waist down. I'm an elderly lady. I'm like B. Arthur. I'm like Maude from the waist down.
Kelly said that you were more of a Reba McEntire from the waist down.
That's sweet. So it's orange.
That's a really nice compliment.
Yeah, I pumpkin dyed it. I pumpkin spice latte'd it.
Oh, which is not really. No, there's no pumpkin. It's just cinnamon and nutmeg.
I don't even like it, but you can't even think of all the Starbucks that are in trouble. That's like, what the hell? It's not coming back for a while. What? Can you make a vaccine? You're so good at everything.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the Oxford Jenner vaccine is for real. And
are we going to accept it, or we're not going to because it's not made in America?
I'll fly anywhere to get it. Well, the first time in history, vaccine race. It's never been like this, where they have an unlimited amount of money, and every lab has basically converted to finding this vaccine. And that's the very good news, but no doubt they have to they all know they have to take their time, because if it is at all unsafe, then they're fucked, and they have to, that destroys their business. So it behooves them to take real time. Like they are, like the Jenner one was based off of the MERS, which was in the Middle East, respiratory syndrome. And that one, they were already doing that. They were already pretty close, and they just switched to COVID, which is a cousin, and it looks pretty dang good. They're close to phase 3, I think. So they're well into human trials. So
it's human trials. So it's people that volunteer for it, that know that the odds of getting cured are good because they'll be under a scientific. They're not good, but if you're young enough and you get it. Yeah. Look, I know people that I just had one of my friend's best friend died yesterday from it, and he's like 35. So, they've been making up all their own facts and figures. I mean, right. The world's upside down, but
that's why people didn't pay enough attention to, I didn't either, but to the word novel. Everyone was like the novel coronavirus. They always kept saying that because it was unique. It had never been on the planet. And so that means, or one of the features is that it's unpredictable. So a person can get it and never feel a single symptom.
Right.
Or they can die, or a lot of people have, I have a friend who had it in New York. He got it, small apartment, wife and kid. The kid got it, no symptoms. The wife never got it. It's taken him 9 weeks, and he was like just getting his taste back. But
wow.
We also interviewed Daniel Day Kim on The Darkest Timeline with Ken Jeong.
And that's on How often is that on? When can I hear that?
Doing it
Watch
about
it.
a week. We could do it. We do it on every place that you can get a podcast. It's available from Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. I don't know, MySpace, Friendster.
Yeah, I'm on Napster and CD-ROM. I record on that.
Well,
And
so
back to what you're saying. Sorry.
No, but Daniel Day Kim, he's like, it's very hard for me. Like, I can still feel like my brain function is not fully there. And there's this thing. It basically shows up as a similar symptom to like Alzheimer's or dementia, which
right.
Like some people it clears up and some doesn't. And so that's why when, I know that when I hear people say only young people are getting it, I was like, I was like, they're way more getting it than old people. And I was like, this is not good news. And this is not a way to say it's not as bad as we're saying because they're surviving. Hey, for you young people out there that are listening, I don't know how much of that is your audience?
It's probably a lot, but they also love Joel McHale. See, that's the thing.
It's like, here's what I'll say. And I know that you guys heard this, just wear a mask. It will be so much. It takes care of so much. But when I hear only young people are getting it, that means those young people are walking around old people and they're walking around immune compromised people.
Middle-aged people or just, immune compromised is somebody with asthma, which is maybe 10% of the population.
Be a great American. Pretend this is the beginning of World War II. Buy war bonds.
They don't. Yeah, that you lost them there. I don't even have them with airplane. You know what? We're going to take another quick break and we're going to come back.
You're from the sleep mattress, the sleep country.
It's a grooming your mattress. If your mattress grows some kind of
does your mattress need grooming? Perfect.
Yeah, the bottom of your mattress is covered in hair. All right, so we're both back. Why did you do your podcast with Ken? Ken Jeong, first of all, to work with him is a nightmare because he's such an asshole.
No. He's not funny.
He's not nice. He's just
not smart,
and doesn't care about anybody.
No, dummy. And that's why I chose, because he'd make me look good. And just like you, we have ants in our pants and we're obsessive compulsive workaholics. And we can't imagine a world where we're not working.
But it's not just work, because you're addressing where we're at and what you're doing. And you are giving solace to people because they can't just get it from their late night hosts who are doing a great job.
Yes.
And John Oliver and Bill Maher and wherever you get your comedy from. It's very hard to find comedy in the middle of it. But when we get out of it, we still have a lot of people that have been sick or lost to it. So there will be dark humor that will come out, because there was the beginning of this podcast. It turned awful sweet. I wish I could flip the whole thing. It started with me saying terrible things.
Well, if you think about it, though, think about the comedy that came out of, World War II or the Vietnam War, or
not a lot.
I don't know. I feel like
no, you're right. The comedy that came, you're absolutely right. There was a giant influx of people needing to be entertained.
Yes,
desperately. And the Vietnam War. I mean, look at all the cross-culture movies that came out. The satires, movies like Catch-22, and then a lot of The Graduate. A lot of things were addressing it.
Animal House. That was not that further. It was the war was still going. Or no, I guess the war ended in basically 75. But it was. Yeah, so not saying, hey, good times, can't wait to capitalize on this hilarious thing.
Boy, I'm needed more than ever. I'll get paid. But this thing I did because I actually had that Ken Jeong gene that you have, which is, it is nice to make people feel better. And when you do stand-up, it's not just, it is for the hot dogs that just go out to be famous and their only ego and they're marking their space and they're strutting around the stage because they're so great and they've learned the tricks. But you do that, you have to know the mechanics of it. But to go out and to just hear people laughing and to see them laughing, and it's not just, wow, you guys like me, that Sally Field moment, which we all have. I don't care who doesn't want to admit it. Even the cockiest person in the world wants it, including the person running the country right now wants to be loved, as crazy as that sounds.
You're right.
And this is something that I want to do. It hits my heart that I know that I can make people feel good. And so I started this thing, and then 2 weeks after I started it, they had to bring me the whole digital board to the house, and it's down below right near my penis because I rested on there.
Oh.
Mine's not like yours. Mine's hard most of the day.
Yeah, but it's so small that even a fan would blow it off the thing, right? I mean, it would just...
No. I actually had a penis enlargement.
Right? It's like a dust or a cobweb.
It does get cobwebs, and I actually put a little bird feeder on it so a sparrow can sit on it.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's also, I don't really want to talk about my penis.
Like, you talked a lot about it, and then you said, like, I don't want to talk about it.
I guess I'm late on, I probably should have said that at the front.
The front of what?
My penis.
Wait, so, no, yes, no matter what comedian says, they're mad and they're bitter, and whenever I hear that, I'm like, yeah, but you stand on stage and you can't wait to hear those people laugh if it's going well. So,
and it is an exchange program. It's a wonderful feeling, and I love the craft of it. And I had all this new stuff, so I was ready to go. I was going to do a special this year. I was so excited, and now it's like, okay, well, you're going to have 12 minutes of COVID material, and you're going to have it's a lot more humanity is coming into me than I ever expected, because I lay on the lawn nude with my butt out.
Right, but has there ever been a time, I mean, maybe we don't even feel it, but has there really ever been a time for comedy when people go, nothing bad is happening, perfect comedy time, we can say whatever we want, we don't have to worry about anybody's reaction because everybody's happy?
I think that's when Gallagher was on top.
Oh, you're right. Actually, that's true. And
well, the comedy boom when I came out to LA was it started in, I think it's 76, but I hit LA in the Comedy Store at 78. And so that was, Richard Pryor was...
what were you, like 12?
21.
Jeez. That's banana.
It's pretty amazing, the people that I was with, everybody that became and was already. And it's kind of going through that again. It's kind of, well, not now, but it will. It's going to happen again. People are going to, when we're allowed, when we're safe, which might be longer than people want it to be.
Yeah.
So you had the test. Did you have the blood test also? Do you get your finger pricked, or did you do the
I did the finger prick on my own, but here it is.
Oh, you did that one.
I bought a new knife, the Kyocera, which is a ceramic knife, which is so sharp that I couldn't believe it. I recommend them, but they're so sharp. Anyway, I'm not good with any sort of like the swab, like when I would get a throat culture, it's not a good thing, but I have this involuntary reaction to fight. So the first time, it was a few years ago now, but my ear, nose, throat doctor, I think I had I had the flu, or I had a throat. They had to take a throat culture, and I never had it. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Okay, just open your mouth," and he sticks that long swab in there, and then all I hear is, "You're grabbing me, you're grabbing me, you're grabbing me." And I wake up from this blackout, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry."
Are you sure it was a swab?
It was very thick.
Oh, yeah, that might not have been a swab, and you're grabbing me would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Are you sure you were at the doctor's? Were you in a car?
Was it a car?
I don't know. Was it a van?
It was in Laughlin.
Okay. So you were gambling with your life.
Yeah. Well, then he did it. He still hadn't gotten it farther away back, back far enough. Hit it. And he's like, I still got to get in there. And he did it again. And I grabbed him again.
So you don't have a, you don't have a gag reflex. You have a grab. reflex.
grabbed. So then I had to sit on my hands.
That's not fair for anybody. At least you didn't handcuff you or zip tie you to a chair.
Seems illegal for a doctor.
Did you ever watch, like you and I talked to each other, we were on To Tell the Truth together. And, you know, game shows can be fun if you like game shows. You're very good at them. You're really good at them.
Oh, I have a lot of fun at them.
Right.
As are you, my friend.
I'm not that great. I mean, I was on a match game recently, and I wanted to go because Alec Baldwin and a couple other people that I love. But I'm not the guy that gets up and does the overt. I do covert. I don't jump up and do the crazy wacky stuff. You know, I'll wait till, and I don't want to interrupt and yell stuff out so I'm just kind of I don't know what I am on those shows. To tell the truth, I don't think you were that. It depends on when you shoot it. If you feel like you're in a good place when you're doing it, you know?
Yeah, but you're like a joke assassin. You slip them in, and like, yeah, you never were the person to jump up and do some.
Right.
Like,
I don't win though. You win.
I want to win because I'm very competitive to a sad point. I have to be careful about how it used to be bad with sports because it would become not fun for people playing. And so now I have to okay, hold off, just take a step back. People always, with this crazy business, you had to have a sense of you had to be competitive because all these people, not trying to step on their ankles, but it was like, you gotta try hard and not just go, I'm an artist. And some can if they're, really talented, but if they're not as talented, then you got to make up for it.
Well, you're super talented in many, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, is there something brewing that you can talk about that you would do if we were able to go out and not in your pants?
Right here, my friend.
I got something brewing. I ate a cheeseburger.
There's a couple things brewing, and I've committed to a couple things, and I committed to a movie, and there might be television stuff. This is the stupid thing because you can't really say you got a job before you have the job. So
yeah, I've got a couple things brewing also, but until the ink's dry and you're able to get scheduled, and you hope the world's okay.
Yeah, and think about all the people, all the performers that had booked shows in, I don't know, January, and they're like, you'll be shooting in April, all gone.
Yeah.
And it just all disappears, and it's terrible. And look, I know that there's so many other people suffering, and
real suffering. Not that their show.
There's essential workers that are working themselves to the bone.
9 people living in an apartment, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's real. And
well, it's not as hard as your show not getting picked up, and then you eventually get another one anyway. So I think that's the hardest thing that people have to deal with. An actor that can't get their show picked up.
Like, I always think it's so cliche though when they're like, what else is going on? They're like, well, you never know. There's something, things are brewing, things are going to happen. And it would be really, be really misleading if you were like, I'm going to be in the greatest billiards competition reality show you've ever coming out. Not yet. I'm just about to pitch it. You can't.
No, it's so funny. People, when they have a meeting set, they say that it's happening, or they'll say it. I've heard people be introduced on stage where comedians are notorious for this too, where he'll be starring in the new show and we're like, what? And then you see the show and it's not him, it's someone else in it. But no, I wait till it's on the air and then I go, well, wait a minute, it's not on anymore. So I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, when people just brag about meetings, you're like,
it's like I had a lunch back in 2014 that was so good.
I think it was like in the 90s when David Duchovny's career was exploding.
Yeah.
With the X-Files, he said a piece of advice that he didn't realize it was advice, where he was like, there's a thing in Hollywood. It was on a talk show. He's like, the thing in Hollywood where you take a general meeting, which usually 100% of the time means nothing will come of it.
Right.
And he was like, and then something came of this one. And I was like, oh, well, but I was like, oh, so when I hear people going like, I'm meeting this producer and it's exciting, it's like, yeah, don't count on anything. Cause they're literally just want to meet you, I guess, but that's cool.
But then there's something great about the young person that comes out and they don't know anything about show business. And, you know, they say words like, I never would say, I booked this. I never said that. Or I landed this. I don't, how do you talk like that? You know, but that is the vernacular. You know, I booked this show. Oh, my agent just booked this show for me. And it's like, but some people, they're positive they're going to be a giant star. And I met Tiffany Haddish when she was 16 and she was having real trouble. I mean, I was coaching comedy at the Laugh Factory and she was one of the kids getting coached and she had no money and a rough life. And, I knew she was going to do amazing. You can just tell when someone's not just talking the talk of I want to be Richard Pryor, and someone says, okay, but don't do the heroin, but otherwise.
And I think it comes down to work. If you put in the work, I really don't know any. I mean, maybe you do, but any performer that was like, I've worked at it for 45 years and nothing has happened. Because if you have a half a piece of talent, the hard work goes a lot further than insane talent, because so much insane talent just shot. And then you think about all the people that starred in huge movies that you're like, I don't know where that person is anymore.
So a lot of people unfortunately succumb to the vices.
Yes.
You know, and their drugs and a lot of people wanted to be like John Belushi, who wanted to be even like Sid Caesar, who was from your show of shows. And of course we just lost Carl Reiner, who was a genius. And, and your show of shows was Sid Caesar wrote a book, Where Have I Been? And it's because he drank himself. And I assume, I don't know about pills or drugs, but and then Belushi, you know, SNL was notorious for that first year. And it kind of like a lot of people wanted to be that Belushi kind of lifestyle. Kennison and Chris Farley. Chris Farley was the sweetest guy in the world. So it's just really, it's really sad when the vices, because we're all fucked up to do comedy. Some people don't seem to be. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld doesn't seem to have any devils. You know, he might be just, you know.
Well, I think, you know, like, I don't think there's a prerequisite. When I hear about, like, I mean, comedians, I think that are great, wear themselves on their sleeves and share themselves. It doesn't mean that they're the most fucked up person at all.
Right.
But when I hear comedians saying, well, don't you have to be like super dark and screwed up? I'm like, I don't know. Will Ferrell is very funny and one of the funniest people around, and everyone, he's the nicest person on the planet. I don't doubt. Just like every other human being, they all have stuff going on, but comedians that go into it going, I have to be screwed up. I'm like, yeah, you're screwed up, but you work on it. You don't go into it wearing it as a badge that you want to make worse, hopefully. But because that's why I would like, well, I know all sorts of screwed up people that are not comedians and they just happen to be screwed up and they're, I don't know, a scuba instructor. But
that's a real bad job to be screwed up.
Yeah.
You have to vomit throughout the regulator. You have to, you put that in your mouth. That's the first thing they told me when I was taking a lesson. Yeah.
And it's bad if you have if you're down 30 feet and it's the first time and you look at your instructor, and you're like, should I go up? And I was just like,
I don't really like your comedy, so I don't care if you do or not.
Whatever.
So I just think you're one of the best people.
Robert Saget, thank you for everything. You're very sweet. And please say hello to your lovely wife, Kelly. You are a lucky man. And she's, it's fine for her. And
it's adequate.
Someday I hope to sit on your lap in that beautiful, expensive chair.
Yeah.
Fix a plasma television. It seems very dangerous and foolhardy.
I want us to be like Jeff Dunham. You just sitting right here. So give Sarah my love. I hope she feels really well. And
Yeah, I don't think she would have texted me. She hasn't served dinner yet. She would have. She probably would have at this point gone, "Are you gonna come here?" And so she has not yet. So,
well, I miss you. I have nothing but love for you, and I'm sending you all my best. So thank you, Joel.
I'll send all the best to you and to your black shirt. It's very sexy.
Thanks. It's buttons. I mean, it's snaps. It's snaps. I don't know what buttons or snaps are. I don't know things.
Bang!
It kind of comes off really quick, and then I stick my merkin on, and I'm a man.
The merkin goes downstairs, but all right.
I thought there was no, there's a chest. You looked that up like the movie thing that you were wrong about, but I don't know if you were.
Capricorn.
It's not a good movie to watch now because it tells people that everything's fake. So everybody, Joel, I'll be talking to you, and everybody loves you.
No, that is certainly not true, but I'll take it.
Everybody wants you.
Yeah, don't do that. Everyone, you'll have to pay for that.
Nah, they're not going to hear it.
Oh, all right.
I mean, it's just Apple Music.
No one ever listens to that. No one ever heard of that.
Thank you.
And
all right. That was my friend Joel McHale. He is a special man, special person, human. So thanks to Joel. Follow him on everything he does. You know how to do it all. And listen to him and watch him with Ken Jeong and Card Sharks and all these things he's going to be doing and is doing. He's got a lot of stuff upcoming that you guys are going to love. So what you got to do with me is the normal stuff. You know, you got to subscribe and rate it and review it. That's what you got to do. That's what they tell me to tell you to do. Right? Subscribe, rate it, review it, follow it, whatever the hell you do. Do that. And I'll be here for you because that's where I want to be. Sitting in my chair. Be well, everybody. And be safe out there. And don't be afraid to wear a mask. It's just a freaking mask. And that's it. Later. All right, I'm going to talk about something. Oddly enough, people ask me this all the time. I'll be, getting gas. I'll be running to somewhere, an errand, anything. And people go, Bob, do you know anything about insurance? And I can't believe you asked me that because I just so happen to know about a great insurance company. It's not a company. It's even more. It's Policy Genius. And the point is, with everything going on right now, a lot of people are asking if it's even possible to buy life insurance at all. And more than ever, I think people, if they can afford it, want life insurance. And this makes it affordable because the answer is yes, you can get it. It is still easy to shop for life insurance right now. And if you have loved ones, depending on your income, you probably should get it. Right now, you could save $1,500 or more a year by using Policy Genius to compare life insurance policies. See, what you do is you compare life insurance policies, and then you could save like $1,500 because you didn't go pay the retail and you got the same great quality. When you're shopping for a policy that could last for a decade or more, those savings really start to add up. Now, what is Policy Genius? That's what people ask me too. I'll be walking down the street and they'll say, hey, Bob, what is Policy Genius? And what it is it's an insurance marketplace built and backed by a team of industry experts. And people also say, how does it work, Bob? And you know what? Here's how it works. Step one, you just head to policygenius.com, and in minutes you can work out how much coverage you need and compare quotes from top insurers to find your best price. Step two, apply for your lowest price. Step three, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and red tape. And gosh knows, I got tons of red tape. I buy it in bulk. So Policy Genius works for you, not the insurance company. So if you hit any speed bumps during the application process, they'll take care of everything. I'll tell you how I feel about it. I love Policy Genius because they help weed out all the other insurance companies that you might not want. They even have policies which allow eligible customers to skip the in-person medical exam and do it over the phone. That kind of service has earned Policy Genius a 5-star rating across over 1,600 reviews on Trustpilot and Google. So if you need life insurance, head to PolicyGenius.com right now to get started. You could save $1,500 or more a year by comparing quotes on their marketplace. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.